As an average Christian American conservative family man, concerned about the trajectory the nation is on, I decided to make this video with the hope of contributing to the necessary conversation that Americans must have. We desperately need an exchange of thoughts and ideas, and we need to debate them in order to improve things. So let me start with the obvious. For conservatives, Biden and the Democrats are not an option. For real conservatives, Democrats are the absolute worst of two evils. Real conservatives understand and acknowledge that Republicans are part of the problem. We have many rhino Republicans, that is, Republican in name only. These rhinos often vote with the liberal Democrats. Rhinos like Mitt Romney, Susan Collins, Pat Toomey, John Cornyn, Liz Cheney, and the list goes on, many, many more. Some, like Liz Cheney, are no longer in office. Thank God. Many, if not most, Republicans are career politicians sold out to the political machine, and they are perfectly comfortable wallowing in the Washington swamp. In spite of that, the Republicans are the lesser of two evils. We are living on the ever so thin difference between the two parties. The degree of difference between the Washington swamp creatures is like, which would you prefer to face? An alligator, crocodile, black caiman, a copperhead, or a rattlesnake? Choose your poison. One is just as lethal as the other. It's all part of the swamp, and we have to deal with it. At this point in time, we have little choice. Since Biden and/or any Democrat is not an option, we must move on. Since the Democrats have stacked the deck against Trump in the state of New York, in Georgia, and possibly in New Jersey and Washington, D.C., and who knows where else, perhaps it's time for Trump and the GOP to consider a new strategy, because this vendetta against Trump is not going to stop. If Trump would be willing to run interference for, let's say, a DeSantis, and throw all of his support behind him, or some other strong and viable candidate, the GOP would be an unstoppable force. Wishful thinking, perhaps, but think it through carefully. As good as Trump was, as far as the economy, the southern border, and many other things, I mean, we have to give him credit where credit is due. But is Trump, all these things considered, the best person for the job today? Today and moving forward, is Trump the best person for the presidency? What is the most important issue in this next presidential election? The overall Washington corruption, including the Biden crime family and its terrible policies. The whole Democratic Party, along with the media and other allies, are so corrupt, not to mention their very anti-America sentiment. So winning the election is the first step in illuminating the corruption issue. But that is the major issue that Americans are facing today: corruption. Who has the best chance to maximize opportunities to govern effectively in order to eradicate the opposition and its corruption? Can Trump drain the swamp and accomplish everything necessary to uproot the deep state and corruption in only 4 years, with no guarantee of a Republican successor? Is Trump focused on the right issue? Of all people, you would think that Trump would be the one to understand the corruption that he is up against. Even big tech is against him. Even big tech is corrupt and working against Trump. Is Trump so obsessed with getting revenge that he can't see past the election? Oh, he's right in the middle of this political corruption in Washington, D.C. But can he see that just perhaps winning the election, a Trump win in 2024, might not be the best way to eradicate the political corruption in Washington. Trump can get a lot of vengeance in 4 short years, but no one can make America great again and keep that greatness with only 4 short years in office. Trump's great success with 4 years in office was undone in a fraction of the time. Why should anyone believe that it won't be the same next time? Barack Obama's 8 years plus Biden's 4 have exacted great damage in those 12 years. Damage that cannot be undone in 4 short years, especially with the Democrat Party, their entrenched deep state cronies, the mainstream media, and every corrupt blue state attorney gunning for him. Not to mention the never-Trumpers in the Republican Party and the multi-billions of dollars from the likes of George Soros. That scenario is not only possible, it's predictable. These people will not give up the fight against Donald Trump. And remember, that fight is not just against Trump. This war is against you and me. It's against everything good and decent about America. This war is against us. It is against our children and our families. So we have a dog in this fight. We better think on this good and hard. We better get a long-term winning plan in action, because this is more than just a win or loss for Trump. Unfortunately, the stakes are much higher than that. As much as I would love to see Trump back in the White House and stick it to the Democrats and lower the boom on them, that's not the goal here. That's not the goal in this election. Don't get duped into that. That's the Democrats' rope-a-dope strategy. And at times, Trump, like the big, tough George Foreman, has fallen for it. Let's be brutally honest. Oh, we love seeing Trump slugging away at them, but it is still nonetheless a waste of time and energy, and the slugger gets duped. If conservatives think that this is the goal, then God help us all, because we are in a heap of trouble if that is the objective this presidential election. You can't blame Trump for wanting to do that after what these people have done to him. But should that be our goal and motivation in this election? If that's what this is about for Trump, then he is not the right man. He's not the right man for America. But there is hope and good news. Trump can maximize our victory in this election. Here's what a maximized victory could look like. Remember, for this to work, Trump has to humble himself and take on a less glamorous role in this election. Can he do it? Is he willing to sacrifice for the good of the people, for the good of the country, for the good of America? Is he big enough of a man to play a less glamorous but more important role in this and get the team a huge win? The end game for conservatives is not a short-term victory. It's not about revenge. Here's what a maximized victory could look like. Trump runs interference for a DeSantis or some other viable candidate. Trump takes the hits and fakes the ball like in a quarterback sneak play, all while DeSantis or whomever runs to the goal line for the win. DeSantis or whomever takes the White House with long coattails, carries the Senate and the House majorities, reinstates conservative policies, strengthens the economy, restores the country to a glory better than ever, replaces the entrenched deep state with good, honest people, drains the swamp, and he puts an end to all of the falsified charges against Trump, even if he has to give him a full pardon just for good measure. Trump gets the best and most savory revenge. He regains his former life with all its glory without having the Democrats indicting him at every turn on false charges. He lives out his life as an American hero, best known for his sacrificial contribution to his country and thereby leaving a great legacy. But does Trump have within him that kind of humility and greatness? Trump could secure Americans a much more lasting victory if he is willing. I know that's asking a lot, but that's what great men do. They sacrifice greatly. As much as I appreciate Trump and his service in the presidency, and as tough as I think he is, I don't think 4 years is enough time. As the punching bag of the Democrats for years now, I can understand Trump wanting to stick it to the left and wanting to do it his way. But is that as important as a lasting victory for the nation? Is Trump willing to lock arms with others and execute the best possible plan to outsmart and outplay the opposition, even at the cost of a second term as president for himself? Is a Trump second term the best outcome for conservatives at this point? Is that even the best outcome for Trump? 4 years and then another Obama or Biden comes along and undoes it all. Or perhaps another rhino or weak Republican comes and squanders it all. In the long term, what America needs is a lasting victory. As a Christian American conservative, my hope and trust is in God first and foremost. But as a U.S. citizen, my responsibility is to vote for the best candidate with the best plan and policies and with the best interest for the American people at heart. At this point in time, I believe that a Trump victory is not the best victory possible for the nation. It's better than a Biden win, but not the best long-term outcome for the country. Biden is the worst of two evils. Trump is better than Biden, but not the best long-term. DeSantis is the best possible outcome for the nation. Think about it. Our future depends on what we do in this election. Until next time, goodbye.